It rarely begins with chaos. There's no dramatic moment where a child decides to grow up. It begins in silence. You're young, maybe 6, maybe 7, and you're watching an adult who should feel safe fall apart. Not always loudly. Sometimes it's subtle, a distracted stare, a sharp mood swing, a sadness that fills the room but is never named. And in that moment, something instinctive happens inside you. You don't think it in words, you feel it in your body. If I don't stay calm, things will get worse. If I don't behave, I'll become a problem. If I don't help, no one will. This is where childhood quietly ends. Not because the child wanted it to, but because the environment demanded it. This is the origin of the too mature child. They don't disappear physically, they disappear emotionally. They stop asking questions, they stop expressing needs, they stop expecting comfort. Instead, they observe, they adapt, they manage. They become experts at reading tone, mood, silence. They learn how to shrink themselves just enough to keep the peace. And soon, the world starts applauding them. You're so mature for your age. You're wise beyond your years. You're so responsible. No one asks what had to be sacrificed for that maturity, because what looks like strength on the outside is often survival on the inside. When a child grows up in an environment where emotional safety is inconsistent or absent, the nervous system adapts. Psychology calls one version of this parentification, when a child becomes emotionally responsible for adults. But the deeper truth is this: the child learns that their role is to hold the system together. They become the peacekeeper, the emotional regulator, the quiet fixer. And the brain rewires itself around that role. Instead of learning how to feel safely, the child learns how to monitor danger. Instead of learning how to rest, they learn how to stay alert. Instead of learning how to receive care, they learn how to earn it. This creates hypervigilance. You grow up scanning rooms without realizing you're doing it, listening not just to words, but to what's underneath them. Sensing tension before it's spoken, preparing for emotional shifts that may or may not come. Love stops feeling unconditional. It feels negotiated. I'll stay easy to love so you don't leave. I'll take care of you so I don't get abandoned. I'll need less so I don't become a burden. And slowly, the authentic self retreats. In its place forms a highly functional version of you, capable, controlled, reliable. You become the child who doesn't cry, the one who doesn't ask, the one who handles things. You wear that identity so well that even you forget it was built for survival. But the original child doesn't vanish. They're still there, quiet, waiting, holding a grief they never had permission to feel. As the years pass, this adaptation follows you into adulthood. It doesn't look like trauma in the way people expect. There are no obvious breakdowns, no dramatic collapses. Instead, it shows up subtly. You become fiercely independent, not because you don't want connection, but because relying on others feels unsafe. You struggle to relax because productivity became your proof of worth. You feel strangely disconnected during moments that are supposed to feel joyful, because joy was never predictable enough to trust. You may love deeply, but never fully soften, because vulnerability once came with consequences. And the most painful part? You may not even realize you're still living in survival mode, because when instability is normalized early, calm can feel unfamiliar. Peace feels suspicious. Stillness feels wrong. Your nervous system learned chaos first, so it treats it as baseline. This isn't weakness. This is conditioning. So why does a child take on this burden in the first place? Because attachment is everything. A child will sacrifice authenticity before they sacrifice connection. They will abandon their own needs if that's what it takes to stay close to caregivers. This isn't a conscious choice, it's biological intelligence. In unsafe environments, the child doesn't ask, "Who am I?" They ask, "Who do I need to be to survive?" And that role, once life-saving, becomes a prison later. You grow up into a high-functioning adult who carries a neglected inner world. You excel externally while feeling unseen internally. You overgive and underreceive. You stay composed while longing to be held. You care for everyone else while quietly wondering when it will be your turn. That fantasy, that someone will notice you're tired, that someone will say you don't have to be strong anymore, that longing belongs to the child who never got to rest. Healing doesn't begin with fixing behaviors. It begins with recognition. Because until you name what happened, you may keep minimizing it. It wasn't that bad. My parents tried their best. Others had it worse. These thoughts aren't truth, they're protection. They're ways the mind avoids opening old wounds. But fine is often just another survival mask. So what does that too mature child become as an adult? Someone who feels unsafe even in calm spaces. Someone who confuses exhaustion with accomplishment. Someone who apologizes for emotions and doubts softness. Someone who gives easily but receives with discomfort. They become adults who are always bracing, waiting for the moment things fall apart. And here's the difficult truth. No one is coming to rescue the child you had to abandon. Not because you don't deserve it, but because now you are the only one who can. This is where shadow work begins. Not with positivity, not with self-improvement, not with pretending you're healed, but with turning inward and saying what was never said to you. You shouldn't have had to do that. You were too young to carry all of that. You didn't fail, you adapted. This process is not gentle at first. It asks you to feel what you postponed for years, the grief, the anger, the loneliness. It asks you to mourn moments you missed while being the strong one. Birthdays where you were emotionally absent. Moments of play replaced by responsibility. A childhood shaped by vigilance instead of safety. That grief is not regression, it's release. Because emotions that were frozen in childhood don't disappear, they wait. And when they finally thaw, it can feel overwhelming. But this is not breakdown, this is integration. As healing unfolds, you may notice how the pattern shows up everywhere. You might become the emotional support system in every relationship, yet rarely let anyone see your own vulnerability. You might struggle with boundaries because saying no still feels like abandonment. You might overfunction in partnerships, taking responsibility for emotional balance that isn't yours to carry. These aren't flaws, they're learned strategies. And strategies can be unlearned, but only if you stop worshiping your resilience and start listening to your pain. One of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself is simple. What did I need back then that I never received? The answers may come quietly. I needed reassurance. I needed protection. I needed to be allowed to rest. I needed someone to choose me. Healing doesn't begin with recreating the past. It's about meeting those needs now, consistently, gently, without judgment. This is how you stop seeking parents in partners. This is how you stop mistaking anxiety for intuition. This is how you stop living from the role you played instead of the self you are. Carl Jung wrote that consciousness comes at a cost, that people avoid self-confrontation because it hurts, and it does. But avoidance costs more, because healing isn't becoming someone new, it's reclaiming who you were before you had to become someone else. If you were a child who grew up too fast, understand this: your maturity was not the problem. The problem was that you never had a choice. Now you do. You can choose rest without guilt. You can choose softness without shame. You can choose to stop managing everyone else's emotions and finally tend to your own. Some days you'll feel younger than your age, more sensitive, more raw. That's not failure. That's the child returning home. Let them cry. Let them be imperfect. Let them finally be seen. Because you are not broken. You were shaped by survival. And now, slowly, intentionally, you are reshaping yourself through truth. You may not have had the childhood you deserved, but you still have a future. And this time, you get to grow up without losing yourself.